This is a quick video to try to show you guys a little bit of a shortcut for how to write something in slope-intercept form when they don't give you the intercept. So we learned one way using point-slope form, but there's another way. So the formula for slope-intercept, if you remember, y equals mx plus b. And so what we're going to do is we're going to actually calculate the slope by using our formula for slope, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So notice the slope is not the problem. We could actually do that. The intercept is the problem. We'll take a look at that, and what do we do? How do we figure that out? So what I'm going to do is actually pause the video, and I'll kind of put the answers up to 5 and 6 automatically. We'll do number 4 together really quick just to make sure. So normally I'll start off by labeling these just to make sure we're organized, right? We don't lose anything, and we just plug into the formula. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and you get negative 5 over 5. All right, and that's going to equal negative 1. All right, and again, I'm going to pause the video. You can check my answers, make sure I didn't make any mistakes on 5 and 6, and we'll go from there. So you can see the answers for the slope here for 5 and 6. You get 4 and 1/2. Again, you could pause, double check my math, make sure I didn't do anything wrong there. So now we have equations kind of set up for all of these. If I kind of think through, y equals blank x plus blank. And I could fill in all my slopes, right? So this one was negative 1, this one was 4, and this one was 1/2. What I'm missing on all of them is b. And so we want to figure out what b is. And the other way, as I said, there's 2 ways. We learned one using point-slope form, but I actually don't have to know that formula if I know this method, which is kind of nice. So what we could do is, you kind of have to remember something else about these equations, that if you remember way back when, we talked about sometimes they asked you to see if a point, like this guy right here, is a solution. We'll just use these guys first. They asked if it was a solution to an equation. What that means is, if you remember, are these points on the line? And if they are on the line, they would make like our equation like this one work and make it make sense. So the left side and the right side would be equal. Well, what we did to figure that out is we took the x and y in this equation and we plugged them in down here. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to plug in y would be 1, and x would be negative 2. I kind of fill in everything else with the appropriate colors here. And we have a negative 1 here and a b here. And notice, oops, sorry, I wrote x, but I actually plugged in for x. So this pink guy right here, this is x, right? And this is my y. So notice what's happening is I'm actually just plugging into the equation. And notice on this problem, there's only one variable now, and that's b. So we could actually solve for that, that letter by simply doing my multiplication here. 1 equals negative 1 times negative 2 is 2 plus b, and I subtract 2 from both sides, and I get negative 1 equals b. So I can go back to this guy right here, and now I know what b is. B is negative 1. And we've just solved for that equation. Okay, so let me show you again on the second one, and I'll just leave the last one blank. I'll put the answer, but I want you guys to see if you can figure out and do that one on your own. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this equation, or that point that I have, x and y are both negative 5, so negative 5 here for y and negative 5 for x. Everything else, I've got a 4, put that in parentheses, plus b. So what I'm going to do, again, I'm going to do a little bit of multiplication. I'm going to multiply these together in negative 20. And then I'm going to add 20 to both sides because I want to solve for b. And so going back to my other equation, back up here. Again, I want this in slope-intercept form. Again, what I was missing was b. Now I know b is 15, and I can plug that back in. Now, the nice thing, just so you guys know, is I could use the other point as well, and it would work. I should get the same answer. So, or if I wanted to double check, I could take my 3's, right? I could take these numbers. Let me do a different color there. I could take this 3 and plug it in here, and this negative. Sorry, I did it backwards. This 3, plug it in here, and negative 3 and plug it in here, and it should actually work like the equation should work, right? That positive 3 equals 4 times negative 3 plus 15. And you could do the math there. You could do the math there, trust me, like that does work, right? So again, you're seeing that this equation will work for both of these points at the top. I'm gonna let you see if you can get to this solution. So I'm going to let you figure this last one out, but if you plug it in, you guys should do the work there. You should get y equals 1/2 x plus 10. Okay, so I want you to try that one. Make sure you get that. And again, hopefully this is helpful. Just a different way to do some of these problems. And what it, again, allows you to do is only know one formula. So unless the problem specifically says do point-slope form, then you can know slope-intercept form, and that'll help you solve these problems a little bit differently.